Okay, good evening, viewers. Okay, let's we start. Today we will going to discuss about three units, that is your union legislature and executive organs and judicial organs. Do you have any idea about structures of political systems or political government elements? Government has three elements, that is legislature, executive and judiciary. Legislature, the parliamentary body is called legislature, and all the high rank ministers, and they are the executive organs, and our judicial organs are just like Supreme Court, High Court, they are our judicial organs. So let's we first start with our union legislature. Okay, the term union legislature has been derived from the Latin word lex, which means a distinct kind of legal rule, mainly of general applications. Okay, that means legislature. The word derived from the Latin word lex, which means a distinct kind of legal rule, which the rule is named legislation, and the institutions which conduct in it on behalf of the people is known as legislature. Okay, there are two models of legislative structure. They are the parliamentary and the presidential. Okay, in India we follow parliamentary model of legislature. Okay, in parliamentary model, the executive is selected by the legislature from among its members. That's why the executive is the legislature. The executive is responsible to the legislature. The presidential system is based on the theory of separation of power and does not permit any person to serve simultaneously in both executive and legislature. In India, legislature exists two levels such as union level, that is parliament, and state level, that is state legislature. Okay, so in Article 7, I think Article 79 to Article 79 to 122 in Part 5 of the Constitution deal with the organizations, compositions, durations, officers, procedures, privileges, powers, and so on. Okay, then let's we discuss about organizations. Organizations of Parliament. Parliament consists of President, Lok Sabha, and Rajya Sabha. Okay, the term Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha is a Hindi word which was included in the year 1954. Before the terms are used just like President, Council of State, and the House of the People. Okay, the Rajya Sabha is the upper house and the second chamber of House of Elders, and the Lok Sabha is the lower house or first chamber of the popular house. Okay, the former represents the states and union territories of the Indian Union, while the latter represents the people of India as a whole. Though the President of India is not a member of either House of Parliament and does not sit in the Parliament to attend its meeting, he is an integral part of Parliament. This is because a bill passed by both the House of Parliament cannot become law without the President's assent. Okay, he also performs certain functions relating to the proceedings of the Parliament. For example, he summons, he prorogues, or both the houses dissolve the Lok Sabha, addresses both the houses, issues ordinances when they are not in session. Okay. In respect, the former of the Indian Constitution relied on the British pattern rather than the American pattern. Okay, that means we follow British pattern. In Britain, there is a parliamentary form of government, and in India also follow parliamentary form of government. But in case of USA, they follow presidential form of government. Previously, I told you that what is the difference between presidential form of government and parliamentary form of government. executive. Okay, but in presidential form of government, there is only one executive, that is a real executive. Okay, in Britain, the parliament consists of crown, the House of Lords, and the House of Commons. Just like in India, India consists of which organs? Just like President, Lok Sabha, and Rajya Sabha. Similarly, in Britain, Britain consists of House Queen, House of Lords, and House of Commons. Okay. By contrast, the American president is not an integral part of legislature. In USA, the legislature, which is known as Congress. Indian legislature name is Parliament. In similar way, USA legislature name is Congress. Okay, and Congress consists of Senate and House of Representatives. This is the comparison between India, USA, and Britain. Clear that in USA, their parliament name is Congress, Congress and Senate and House of Representative. Indian legislature name is Parliament, that consists of President, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, whereas UK parliament body name is Parliament, and that consists of Queen, House of Lords, and House of Commons. Okay, the parliamentary form of government emphasize on the interdependence between the legislative and executive organs. Okay, hence we have the presidents in parliament, like the crown in parliament. In Britain, the presidential form of government, on the other hand, lays stress on the separations of legislative and executive organs. Hence, the American president is not regarded as the constituent part of the Congress. Just like in India, president is most important in parliamentary body. But well, if I we talk about USA, there is not that much of important. Okay, then now we discuss about the compositions of two houses. Two houses means Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Lok Sabha is the upper house. Lok Sabha is the lower house, and Rajya Sabha is a upper house. Okay, the maximum strength of Rajya Sabha is fixed at 250. When our constitution is formed, in that time our strength of Rajya Sabha is fixed to 50. Okay, out of which 238 members have to be representative of different states and union territories, and 12 members are nominated by the president. That means when our constitution frame, at that time our strength of Rajya Sabha is 250. 238 members are selected from different state legislative assemblies, and 12 members are nominated by the president. But now in Rajya Sabha, strength is 245. Okay, at 229 members represents from different states, and 4 members from different union territories, and 12 members are nominated by the president. Nominated from which sections? From arts, literature, science, from this background. Okay, then we discuss about the representations of state. The representative of state in the Rajya Sabha are elected by the elected members of state legislative assemblies. The election is held in accordance with the system of proportional representations by means of single transferable vote system. The seats are allotted to the states in the Rajya Sabha on the basis of population. Hence, the number of representatives varies from state to state. For example, Uttar Pradesh has 31 members. The Tripura has, in case Tripura has only one member. Okay, it is depend on the territorial area of a state. Okay, then representations of different union territories. The representatives of each union territory in the Rajya Sabha are indirectly elected by the members of an elected electoral college specially constituted for the purposes. This election is also held in accordance with the system of proportional representation by means of single transferable vote system. Okay, Out of the 7 union territories, only 2 union territories, that is Delhi and Pondicherry, have representative in Rajya Sabha. Okay, the populations of other 5 union territories are too small to have any representative in the Rajya Sabha. That means only in Delhi and Pondicherry, in that two union territories, only they send their representative in to the Rajya Sabha, and other union territories, other 5 union territories, they are too small. That's why they were unable to send, or they are incapable to send any representative to Rajya Sabha. Okay. Then nominated member. The president nominated 12 members to Rajya Sabha. Okay. uh, from among who have special knowledge or practical experience in art, literature, science, social service, and etc. etc. As I already told you. The rationale behind the principles of nominations is to provide eminent persons a place in the Rajya Sabha without going through the process of elections. Okay, it should be noted here that the American Senate has no nominated members. That means in India, only in India, they sent 12 member to the president nominated 12 member to Rajya Sabha. But in case of USA, there is no nominated member. Okay. Then we see compositions of Lok Sabha. That was the compositions of Rajya Sabha, and now we discuss compositions of Lok Sabha. Okay. राज्यसभार आम जदि आम राज्यसभा को देखा राज्यसभा आमर टोटाल जिते कन्स्टिट्यूशन या 250 मेंबर्स रही व्यवस्था रही 238 मेंबर्स डिफरेंट स्टेट को रिप्रेजेंट करुले 12 मेंबर्स राष्ट्रपति से मनोनीत करुले किंतु जदि आम एबे देखिबा एबे हमर राज्यसभार स्ट्रेंथ अछि 245 स्ट्रेंथ अछि सेथुरु 229 डिफरेंट स्टेट रु 4 different union territories to and 12 members nominated by the president from the community of arts, science, literature. Okay. Now we discuss the compositions of Lok Sabha. The maximum strength of Lok Sabha is fixed. That is 552. When our constitution frame at that time, our strength is fixed for Lok Sabha. Then that strength is 552. Out of 530 members are to be representative of the state, 20 members are to be the representative of union territories, and 2 members are to be nominated by the president from the Anglo-Indian community. Okay, but at present, Lok Sabha has 545 members. Of the 530 members are representative of different states, and 30 members represent the union territories, and 2 members are nominated by the president from Anglo-Indian community. Okay, here we discuss about representative of states. The representative of state in the Lok Sabha are directly elected by the people from the territorial constituencies in the states. Okay, the elections is based on the principles of universal adult franchise. Every Indian citizen who have above 18 years of age and who is not disqualified under the provisions of the constitutions or any law is eligible to vote at such elections. Okay, the voting age was reduced from 21 to 18 years by the 61 Constitutional Amendment Act 1988. You may be note down the important things. Okay. So representatives of state here, that means the members are elected by the people. Okay, and 230 and two members are nominated by the president from Anglo-Indian community. Then representatives of union territories, the constitution has empowered the parliament to prescribe the manner of choosing the representative of the union territories in the Lok Sabha. According to Parliament has enacted the Union Territories um, Act 1965, by which the members of Lok Sabha from the union territories are close chosen by different elections. Okay. Then nominated members, the presidents can nominate two members from the Anglo-Indian community. Okay, Anglo-Indian community is not adequately represented in the Lok Sabha. Originally, the provisions was to operate till 1960, but has been extended till 2020 by the 95th Amendment Act 2009. That is the compositions of Lok Sabha. Okay, that means ଲୋକସଭାରେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଲୋକସଭା ଷ୍ଟାର୍ଟିଂ ରେ ଆମ କନଷ୍ଟିଟ୍ୟୁସନ ଆସେମ୍ବଲି ଫ୍ରେମ୍ ହେଇଥିଲା ସେତେବେଳେ ଲୋକସଭାରେ 552 members ରହିବାର ବ୍ୟବସ୍ଥା ରହିଥିଲା ଏବଂ 550 members are elected 550 members are elected by the state legislative assemblies ଆଉ 2 ଜଣ member ରାଷ୍ଟ୍ରପତିଙ୍କ ଦ୍ୱାରା ମନୋନୀତ ହୋଇଥିଲେ ସେଟା ହେଉଛି ଷ୍ଟାର୍ଟିଂ ରେ ବଟ୍ ଯଦି ଆମେ ଏବେର ଷ୍ଟ୍ରେନ୍ଥ ଦେଖିବା ଲୋକସଭାରେ 545 members ଅଛନ୍ତି ଆଉ ସବୁ members elected by the people ଆଉ 2 members are nominated by the president nominated ରାଷ୍ଟ୍ରପତି ମନୋନୀତ କରନ୍ତି 2 ଜଣକୁ ଲୋକସଭାକୁ okay then next we discuss the qualifications next we discuss durations okay durations of two houses okay the Rajya Sabha first constituted in 1952 is a continuing chamber that is it is a permanent body and not subject to dissolution that means Rajya Sabha is a permanent body okay and Rajya Sabha is not subject to dissolution. However, one third of its members retired every second year. Okay, these their seats are filled by fresh elections, and president nominates at the beginning of every third year. Okay, the retiring members are eligible for re-elections and re-nominations. Any number of times okay then durations of Lok Sabha unlike the Rajya Sabha the Lok Sabha has not a continuing chamber just like Rajya Sabha is a continuing chamber okay Rajya Sabha never dissolves every 2 year its one third members retired from Rajya Sabha but Rajya Sabha is a permanent house but in case of whereas Lok Sabha is a temporary house okay or temporary chamber Lok Sabha is not a continuing chamber. Okay, its normal term is 5 years. Okay, from the date of its first meeting after the general elections, after which it automatically dissolves. However, the president is authorized to dissolve the Lok Sabha at any time, even before the completion of 5 years, and this cannot be challenged in a court of law. That means before the sessions of complete of Lok Sabha can be Lok Sabha can be dissolved. President have the power to dissolve Lok Sabha. Okay, Lok Sabhar duration रहुची 5 वर्ष ଲୋକସଭା ଗୋଟେ ପରମାନେଣ୍ଟ ହାଉସ ନୁହେଁ ଏବଂ ପ୍ରେସିଡେଣ୍ଟ ଚାହିଁଲେ 5 ବର୍ଷ ପୂର୍ବରୁ ହିଁ ଲୋକସଭାକୁ ଭାଙ୍ଗି ଦେବାର କ୍ଷମତା ପ୍ରେସିଡେଣ୍ଟଙ୍କର ରହୁଛି ଓକେ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ଇଜ ଦ ଡ୍ୟୁରେସନ୍ସ ଅଫ ରାଜ୍ୟସଭା ଆଣ୍ଡ ଲୋକସଭା ଦେନ୍ ଆମେ ଦେଖିବା ତାଙ୍କର କ୍ୱାଲିଫିକେସନ୍ସ କ'ଣ କ'ଣ ରହିଛି he must be a citizen of India. He must make subscribe to an oath or affirmation before the persons authorized by the election commission for these purposes. In his oath or affirmations, he swears to be true faith and allegiance to the constitutions of India, to uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India. Okay, he must not be less than 30 years of age in the case of Rajya Sabha, and in case of Rajya Sabha, the age is 25 years. Okay, he must possess the other qualifications prescribed by the Parliament. Okay. Okay, Then we discuss other things like oath affirmation, oath or affirmations. Okay, every member of either house of parliament before taking his seat in the house has to make and subscribe to an oath or affirmations before the of parliament swears that to bear true faith and allegiance to the constitutions of India and to uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India and to faithfully discharge the duty upon which he is about to enter. Okay, then who is the presiding officers of parliament? Speaker is the presiding officers of parliament. Then we discuss about speaker. Okay, the elections of the speaker. The speaker is elected by the Lok Sabha from among its members. Okay, whenever the office of the speaker fall vacant, the Lok Sabha elects another member to fill the vacancy. The date of election of the speaker is fixed by the president. Usually, the speaker remains in office during the life of the Lok Sabha. Okay. However, he has to vacate his office earlier in any of the following three cases. What are the three cases? If he cases to be a member of Lok Sabha, or if he resigned by writing the deputy speaker, and if he is removed by the resolutions passed by a majority of all the members of Lok Sabha, such a resolution can be moved only after giving 14 days of advance notice. Okay. Then what are the role, power and functions of speaker? The speaker is the head of the Lok Sabha and its representative. He is the guardian of power and privileges of the members, the house as a whole and its communities. He is the principal spokesman of the house, and his decisions in all parliamentary matters is final. He is thus much more than merely the presiding officers of the Lok Sabha. In these capabilities, he is vested with vast pride and vital responsibilities and enjoys great honor, dignity, and supreme authority within the House. The Speaker of the Lok Sabha derives power duties from the sources, that is the constitutions of India, the rules, procedures, the business of Lok Sabha and parliamentary pensions. Okay, although he has the following different types of powers and duties, and these powers and duties are: he maintains order and decorum in the house for conducting business and regulating its proceedings. This is the his primary responsibility, and he has final power in this regard. He is the final interpreter of the provisions of the constitutions of India, the rules of procedures and conduct of business of Lok Sabha and the parliamentary presidents of the house. Okay, then adjourns the house or suspend the meetings of quorum. Okay, the quorum is constitute a meeting of the house is 1/10 of its total members of the house. Okay, he does not vote in the first instance, but that means speaker does not have voting power. Okay, but he can exercise a casting vote in case of tie. Okay, in other words, only when the house is divided equally on any questions, the speaker is entitled to vote. Such vote is called casting vote, and the purpose is to dissolve a deadlock. Okay, that means if we talk about the speaker, that means speakers do not have any voting power. But when in parliament there in case of tie, speaker in that time use his casting vote power. Okay, The presiding of presides over a joint session sitting of the two houses of parliament. Such a sitting is summoned by the president. That means in case of joint session, speaker preside over the meeting. Okay. He can allow a secret sitting of the house, the request of the leader of house. Okay, he decide whether a bill is a money bill or not. Okay, he decide the questions of disqualifications of a member of the Lok Sabha arising on the ground of this distractions under the provisions of the 10th schedule. Okay, he acts as the ex officio chairman of the Indian Parliament Group. This is the link between the Parliament of India and the various parliaments of the world. Okay, he appoints the chairman of all the parliamentary committees of the Lok Sabha and supervise their concerning. Okay, then when if speaker seat is vacant in case of deputy speaker joined as a chairman. Okay, so we discuss about deputy speakers of Lok Sabha. Like the speaker, the deputy speaker is also elected by the Lok Sabha itself from among its members. He is elected after the elections of the speaker has taken place. Okay, the date of elections of the deputy speaker is fixed by the speaker. Okay, whenever the office of the deputy speaker fall vacant, the Lok Sabha elects another member to fill the vacancy. Okay, then now we discuss that's all about Lok Sabha. That Lok Sabha chairman is speaker and deputy. In case of speaker is absent, in that case the deputy speaker acts as a chairman. But in next we discuss about chairman of Rajya Sabha. Okay, the presiding officers of the Rajya Sabha is known as the chairman. The Vice President of India is the ex-officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha. During any period when the Vice President acts as President or discharges the functions of the President, he does not perform the duties of the office of the Chairman of Rajya Sabha. Okay, the Chairman of Rajya Sabha can be removed from his office only if he is removed from the office of the Vice President. As a presiding officer, the powers and functions of chairman in the Rajya Sabha are similar to those of the speaker in the Lok Sabha. However, the speaker has two special powers which are not enjoyed by the chairman. Okay, the speaker decides whether a bill is money bill or not. Okay, and his decision on this question is final. The speaker presides over a joint sitting of the two houses of parliament. That's all about chairman of Rajya Sabha. Then now we discuss deputy chairman of Rajya Sabha. The deputy chairman is elected by the Rajya Sabha itself from among its members. Okay, whenever the office of the deputy chairman fall vacant, the Rajya Sabha elects another chairman to fill the vacancy. The deputy chairman vacants his office in any of his following three cases. Okay, if he cases to be a member of the Rajya Sabha, if he resigns by writing to the chairman, and if he is removed by resolution passed by majority of all the members of Rajya Sabha, such a resolution can be moved only after giving 14 days advance notice. Okay. Then next we're going to discuss about legislative procedures in Parliament. Okay. In legislative procedure, before we discuss legislative procedure in Parliament, again I tell you that that Lok Sabha जे प्रेजाइडिंग ऑफिसर थांती तांकर स्पीकर बोली कहूछु आ स्पीकर जेतेबेले न थांती सेतेबेले डेप्यूटी स्पीकर से जगह रे काम करंती बट राज्यसभा रो राज्यसभा रे आमे चेयरमैन बोली वाइस प्रेसिडेंट से जगह रे काम करंती आ तांको जगह जदी स्पीकर चेयरमैन चेयरमैन काम करती ओके बे हमें डिस्कस करबा legislative procedures in parliament. The legislative procedures is identical in both the house of parliament. Every bill has to pass through the same stages in each house. Okay, a bill is proposal for legislation and it becomes an act or law when duly enacted. Bill introduced in the parliament are of two kinds, that is public bill and private bills. Okay, though both are governed by the same general procedures and pass through the same stages in the house, they differ in various respects as shown. They differ in various respects. Okay, the bill introduced in the parliament can also be classified into four categories. That is ordinary bill, which is concerned with any matter other than financial subject; money bill, which are concerned with the financial matters like taxation, public expenditure, etc. Financial bill, which are also concerned with financial matters. Okay. Then finally, constitutional amendment bill, which are concerned with the amendment of the provision of the constitutions. Okay. Now we discuss about ordinary bill one by one. I discuss that ordinary bill, money bill, financial bill, and constitutional amendment bill. So जदि आम बिल को डिस्कस करवा आमर चारि टाइप रो बिल रही थाए गोटे होची ऑर्डिनरी बिल गोटे होची मनी बिल गोटे होची फाइनेंशियल बिल आ गोटे होची कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट बिल एबे हम डिस्कस करवा ऑर्डिनरी बिल Every ordinary bill has to pass through the 5 stages in the parliament before it finds a place on the statute book. माने कोनोसी भी ordinary bill पास हेबा पई तांकु पांचटी प्रोसेस द्वारा माने पांचटी स्टेप द्वारा तांकु जिबाकू पड़ी थाए तो ताकु हमें ordinary bill बोली की कहि परिबा First stage रे कोन रहउची an ordinary bill can be introduced in the house of parliament. Such a bill can be introduced either by a minister or by any other member. The member who wants to introduce the bill has to ask for the leave of the house. When the house grants leave to introduce the bill, the mover of the bills introduced by it, reading its title and objectives. The discussions on the bill takes place at this stage. Later, the bill published in the Gazette of India. If a bill is published in the Gazette before its introduction, leave of the House of introduce the bill is not necessary. The introduction of the bill and its publications in the Gazette constitutes the first reading of the bill. This is the first reading. Okay. Then in second reading, during this stage, the bill received not only the general but also the detailed scrutiny and assume its final shape. Okay. Hence, it forms the most important stage in the enactment of a bill. In fact, this stage involves 3 stages. Okay, then we go to third reading. At this stage, the debate is confined to the acceptance or rejections of the bill as a whole, and no amendments are allowed. As the general principles underlying the bill have already been scrutinized during the stage of second reading. If the majority of members present and voting accept the bill is regarded as passed by the House. Thereafter, the bill is authenticated by the presiding officers of the House and transmitted to the second House for considerations and approval. Okay, that means if bill is passed in one house, then it's referred to the another house. A bill is demanded for have been passed by the parliament only when both the houses have agreed to it, either with or without amendments. Then bill in the fourth stage. In the second house, also the bill passes through all the three stages, that is first reading, second reading, and third reading. There are four alternatives before this house. Okay. Mm, and in the last stage, when president gives his assent, the bill is decided that the bill is become an act. Okay, in ordinary cases, bill can be introduced either in the Lok Sabha or in the Rajya Sabha. There is no provision that bill can be introduced only in Lok Sabha. If bill is introduced in the Lok Sabha, then after ratifications of Lok Sabha, the bill is sent to the Rajya Sabha. If Rajya Sabha give his assent, give his signature, then the bill is sent to the president for his assent. If president put his signature on the bill, then the bill is decided, that bill is passed and bill become act. If the president use his veto power and he return the bill, then the bill again passed by the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, then it's sent to president. In the second time, president is bound to put his signature on the bill. Okay, that is all about ordinary bill. In case of money bill, Article 110 of the Constitution deal with the definitions of money bill. It states that a bill is demanded to be a money bill if it contains only provisions dealing with all or any of the following matters. Then what are the matters? The impositions, abolitions, remissions, alterations on regulations of any tax. Then the regulations of the borrowing of money by the union government, the custodian of the consolidated fund of India or the contingency fund of India, the payment of money into or withdrawal of money from any such fund. Okay, the proportions of money out of the consolidated fund of India, declarations of any expenditure charged on the consolidated fund of India or increasing the amount of any such expenditure. The receipt of money on account of the consolidated fund of India or the public accounts of India or the custody or issue of such money or the audit of the accounts of the union or of the state, or any matter incidental to any of the matters specified above. Okay, that's all about money bill. Then next we go to financial bill. Financial bill are those bill that deals with financial or fiscal matter, that is revenue or expenditure. However, the constitution use the term financial bill in a technical sense. Okay, financial bills are of three kinds, that is money bill, that's reside in article 110, then financial bill 1, that is that article 117 1, then financial bill 2, that is article 117 clause 3. Okay, uh, that's all about bill. Then next we go about joint sitting of the two houses. Okay, joint sitting is an extraordinary machinery provided by the constitutions to resolve a deadlock between the two houses over the passage of a bill. A deadlock is demanded to have taken place under any one of the following three situations: after a bill has been passed by one house and transmitted to the other house. If what are the conditions? If the bill is rejected by the other house. Okay, if the house have finally disagree as to the amendments to be made in the bill, or if more than 6 months have emphasis from the date of receipt of the bill by the other house without the bill being passed by it. Okay, these are the provisions. If these provisions occurs, then there is a emergence of what joint sessions. Okay, and who call summons or call joint sessions? President call or summons joint sessions. Okay, okay. Then next, we discuss the multifunctional power of parliament. Okay, multifunctional power of parliament. In the Indian politico administrative system, the parliament occupies a central position and has a multifunctional role. It enjoys extensive power and performs a variety of functions towards the fulfillment of its constitutionality expected role. Its power and functions can be classified under the following heads, just like legislative power or functions, executive power and functions, financial power and functions, constituent power and functions, judicial power and functions, electoral power and functions, and etc. and other powers. Okay. First, we talk about legislative power and functions of parliament. In primary functions of parliament is to make laws for the governance of the country. It has executive power to make law on the subject enumerated in the union list. Okay, at present, union list has 100 subjects matter. Okay, original, but if we see originally union list contains only 797 subject matters, but now union list contains 100 subject matters. Okay, and on the restitutory subject, there is subjects not enumerated in of the three list. With regard to concurrent list, which has at present 52 subject matter, but previously it contained only 47 subjects matter. Okay, the parliament has overriding powers, that is the law. Parliament prevails over the law of the state legislature in case of conflict between the two. Okay, the constitution also empower the parliament to make law on the subject enumerated in the state law, and it has presently it has 61 subject matter, but previously it has 66 subjects matters. Okay. um, then next we discuss executive power and functions. Okay, the constitutions of India establishes a parliamentary form of government in which the executive is responsible to the parliament for its policies and acts. Hence, the parliament exercises control over the executive through questions hour, 0 hour, half hour, half an hour discussion, short duration discussions, calling attention motion or call attention motions or adjournment motions, no confidence motions, census motions, and other discussions. It also supervises the activities of the executive with the help of its committees like Committee on Government Assurance, Committee on Subordinate Legislation, Committee on Petitions, etc. Okay, then financial power and functions. No tax can be levied or collected, and no expenditure can be incurred by the executive except under the authority and with the approval of parliament. Hence, the budget is placed before the parliament for its approval. The enactment of the budget by the parliament legalizes the receipts and expenditure of the government for the ensuing financial years. Okay, then constituent power and functions. The parliament is vested with the powers to amend the constitutions by way of additions, variations of repeal or any provisions. Okay, the major part of the constitutions can be amended by the parliament with special majority, that is a majority of the total member of each house and a majority of not less than two-thirds of the member present and voting in each house. Some other provisions of the constitution can be amended by the parliament with simple majority, that is a majority of the member present and voting in each house of the parliament. Only a few provisions of the constitutions can be amended by the parliament by special majority or with the consent of at least half of the state legislature or by simple majority. However, the power to initiate the process of the amendment of the constitutions lies exclusively in the hands of the parliament and not the state legislature. There is only one there is only one exception, that is the state legislature can pass a resolution requesting the parliament for the creation of abolitions of the legislative councils in the state. Okay, based on the resolutions, the parliament makes an act of the amending the constitutions to that effect. Then next to judicial powers and functions. The judicial powers and functions of the parliament include it can impeach the president for the violations of the constitutions. Okay, it can remove the vice president from his office. It can remove the removal of judges, including the Supreme Court and High Court, Chief Election Commissioner, Comptroller, and Auditor General to the President. Okay, it can punish its member or outsider for the breach of its privileges or its contempts. Okay, then its electoral powers and functions include the parliament participates in the elections of the president and elect the vice president. The Lok Sabha elects its speaker and deputy speaker, while the Rajya Sabha elects its deputy chairman. The parliament is also authorized to make laws and regulate the elections to the offices of president and vice president to both the house of parliament and to both the house of state legislature. Accordingly, Parliament enacted the presidential and vice presidential election, the representative of people, the representations of People Act 1951, etc. Okay. Then other extra powers or other powers and functions include it serves as the highest deliberative body in the country. Then it approves all the three types of emergencies. All the three types of emergencies last class I already discussed, that is national emergency, state emergency, and financial emergency. Okay, it can create or abolish the state legislative council or the councils of the concerned state legislative assemblies. It can increase or decrease the area, alter the boundaries, and change the name of states of Indian unions. It can regulate the organizations and jurisdictions of the Supreme Court and High Court, and can establish a common High Court for two or more states. Okay, these are all about power and functions of Parliament. Okay, so our uh, parliamentary sessions is complete. Now we just look over what are the parliamentary committees. Okay, the committees are broadly parliamentary committees are two kinds. That are standing committees and ad hoc committees. Okay, that means parliamentary committees is divided between two committees, that is standing committee and ad hoc committee. Okay, the former permanent are work as a constitutions basis, while the latter are temporary and case to exist on computations of the tasks assigned to them. Ad hoc committee, that means ad hoc committee are work for that much of duration. So after his task is complete, that committee is removed. Okay, standing committee is a just like a permanent committee. The standing committee also divided between different parts on the basis of nature and functions performed by the theme. Standing committee can be classified into following six category or it divided into six category. First category is financial committee. Financial committee is again divided into three categories, that is public accounts committee, estimate committee, and committee on public undertaking. Then second category is departmental standing committees. Third category is committee to inquiry. Committee to inquiry again divided into three categories, that is committee on petitions, committee on privileges, and ethics committee. Okay. The next committee is committee to scrutinize and control. Committee to scrutinize and control again divided into different categories, that are committee on government assurance, committee on subordinate legislation, committee on papers laid on the table, committee on welfare of SC and ST, committee on empowerment of women, joint committee of office of profit. Okay. Then fifth category committee is committee relating to the day-to-day business of house. Then this category of committee also divided into different categories. First category is business advisory committee. Next committee is committee on private membership, bill and resolution. Then rule committee. Then committee on absence of member from sittings of the house. This is the fifth category of committee, and the sixth category of committee is the housekeeping committee or service committee. That is committee concerned with the provision of facilities and service to the member. This committee again also categorized into different categories, that is general purposes committee, house committee, library committee, joint committee on salaries and allowances of members. All these committee included in the standing committee. Then next other type of committee is ad hoc committee. Okay, ad hoc committee can be divided into two categories, that is inquiry committee and advisory committee. Okay, that's all about our um, parliamentary organ. Okay, then now we discuss about state legislature. Okay, the state legislature occupy a preeminent just a minute before I discuss about state legislature. Again I repeat parliamentary committee, because parliamentary committee is very important. So parliamentary committee को कौन करा जायछि दीटा कमिटी रे डिवाइड करा जायछि गोटे होची स्टैंडिंग कमिटी आ गोटे होची एडहॉक कमिटी अगेन स्टैंडिंग कमिटी को कौन करा जायछि सिक्स कैटेगरी रे कैटेगराइज करा जायछि ताठू माने रखिबे सबटू इंपोर्टेंट होची पब्लिक अकाउंट कमिटी एस्टिमेट कमिटी फाइनेंशियल कमिटी ए तीनटा कमिटी होची सबटू इंपोर्टेंट तो एगुरा सब स्टैंडिंग कमिटी अंडर रे जाउची आ गोटे होची एडहॉक कमिटी तो स्टैंडिंग कमिटी को सिक्स कैटेगरीज रे कैटेगरी करा हेची आउ एडहॉक कमिटी को टू कैटेगरीज रे कैटेगराइज करा हेची एबे हम डिस्कस करबा स्टेट लेजिस्लेचर ओके The state legislature occupy a preeminent and central position in the political system of a state. Okay, Article 168 to 212 in Part 6 of the Constitution deals with the organizations, compositions, durations, officers, procedures, privileges, powers, and so on of the state legislature. Though these are similar to that of Parliament, these are some differences as well. Then let's see organizations of the state legislature. There are no uniformity in the organization of state legislature. Most of the states have an unicameral system, with others have a bicameral system. At present means 2016, only 7 states have two houses, that is bicameral. These are Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar. These are Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Maharashtra, Karnataka, and Jammu and Kashmir. The Tamil Nadu Legislative Council Act 2010 has not came into force. The Legislative Council in Andhra Pradesh was revived by the Andhra Pradesh Legislative Council Act 2005. That means each state legislature does not have two legislature, that is Vidhan Sabha or Vidhan Parishad. Just like in Odisha, Odisha has only Vidhan Sabha, but Odisha does not possess Vidhan Parishad. Okay, but in some states there is presence of both the houses, Vidhan Sabha and Vidhan Parishad. Okay, the 22 states have unicameral system. Here the state's legislature consists of governor and the state legislative assembly. The states have bicameral system. The state legislatures consist of governor, the legislative council and the legislative assembly. The legislative council is already, as I will tell, Vidhan Parishad is the upper house or second chamber or elder house. Okay, while the legislative assembly is Vidhan Sabha is the lower house or first chamber or popular house. Okay, the constitutions provide for the abolitions or creations of legislative council in states. Okay, accordingly, the parliament can abolish a legislative council or create it. If the legislative assembly of the concerned state passes a resolution to that effect, such a specific resolution must be passed by the state assembly by a special majority, that is a majority of the total membership of the assembly and a majority of not less than two-thirds of the members of the assembly present and voting. Okay, this act of the parliament is not to be demanded as an amendment of the constitutions for the purposes of article 368 and is passed by like an ordinary price of legislation. That means ଆମେ ଦେଖିବା କି ଯେମିତି କି ପାର୍ଲାମେଣ୍ଟର ଦିଟା ହାଉସ ହଉଛି ଲୋକସଭା ଆଣ୍ଡ ରାଜ୍ୟସଭା, ଦିଟା ହାଉସ ହଉଛି ପରମାନେଣ୍ଟ ହାଉସ। ୱିଦାଉଟ୍ ଲୋକସଭା ପାର୍ଲାମେଣ୍ଟ କମ୍ପ୍ଲିଟ ହେଇପାରିବନି, କି ୱିଦାଉଟ୍ ରାଜ୍ୟସଭା ପାର୍ଲାମେଣ୍ଟ କମ୍ପ୍ଲିଟ ହେଇପାରିବନି। ପ୍ରେସିଡେଣ୍ଟ, ପାର୍ଲାମେଣ୍ଟ, ଲୋକସଭା ଆଣ୍ଡ ରାଜ୍ୟସଭା ତିନି ଜଣ ହଉଛନ୍ତି କମ୍ପଲସରି ହାଉସ। ବଟ୍ ଯଦି ଆମେ ଷ୍ଟେଟ ଲେଜିସ୍ଲେଚର କଥା ଦେଖିବା, ଷ୍ଟେଟରେ ଦେଖିବା, ଷ୍ଟେଟରେ ଆମର ଯୋଉ ଦୁଇଟି ହାଉସ ରହିଛି ବିଧାନସଭା ଆଣ୍ଡ ବିଧାନ ପରିଷଦ, এই ଦୁଇଟା ହାଉସ ଆମର କମ୍ପଲସରି ହାଉସ ନୁହେଁ। ଗୋଟେ ହାଉସ ନହେଲେ ବି ଚଳିବ, ଯେମିତି କି ଓଡିଶାରେ ଆମର ଖାଲି ବିଧାନସଭା ରହିଛି, ବିଧାନ ପରିଷଦ ନାହିଁ। ଓକେ, ତ ବିଧାନ ସଭାକୁ ଆମର ଲୋୟର ହାଉସ ବୋଲିକି କୁହାଯାଉଛି ବା ପପୁଲାର ହାଉସ ବୋଲିକି କୁହାଯାଉଛି, ଆଉ ବିଧାନ ପରିଷଦକୁ ଆମର ଅପର ହାଉସ ବୋଲିକି କୁହାଯାଉଛି ବା ଏଲ୍ଡର୍ସ ହାଉସ ବୋଲିକି କୁହାଯାଉଛି। Then compositions of two houses. The legislative assembly consists of representatives directly elected by the people on the basis of universal adult franchise. Its maximum strength, is fixed at 500 and minimum strength at is 60. Okay. Then it has also nominated member. The government can nominate one member from the Anglo-Indian community if the community is not adequately represented in the assembly. Originally, this provision was to operate for 10 years. Okay, but this duration has been extended continuously since then by the 10 years each time. And now, under the 95th Amendment Act of 2009, this is no last until no this is to last until 2020. ତ ଯେମିତି କି ଆମ ରାଜ୍ୟସଭା ଆଉ ଲୋକସଭାରେ କଣ ହଉଛି, ମାନେ ଆମର ଯୋଉ ମେମ୍ବରସିପ ଟା ଫିକ୍ସ ରହୁଛି, ଯେମିତି କି ଏବେ ନା ରାଜ୍ୟସଭାର ଆମର ମେମ୍ବର୍ସ ଅଛନ୍ତି 245 and ଲୋକସଭାର ମେମ୍ବର୍ସ ଅଛନ୍ତି 545। ଯଦି ଆମେ ଷ୍ଟେଟ ଲେଜିସ୍ଲେଚର କଥା ଦେଖିବା, ତ ଷ୍ଟେଟ ଲେଜିସ୍ଲେଚର ଆମର ମେମ୍ବରସିପ ଗୁଡା ଭ୍ୟାରି କରିବ, ଷ୍ଟେଟ ର ଟେରିଟୋରିଆଲ ଏରିଆ ଉପରେ ଡିପେଣ୍ଡ କରୁଛି କି କୋଉ ଷ୍ଟେଟ ରେ କେତେ ମେମ୍ବର ରହିବ। ଯେମିତି କି କିନ୍ତୁ ତାର ଗୋଟେ ଫିକ୍ସ ଟର୍ମସ ଦିଆଯାଇଛି କି ଗୋଟେ ଷ୍ଟେଟ ଲେଜିସ୍ଲେଚର ମ୍ୟାକ୍ସିମମ୍ 500 ରହିପାରିବେ ଏବଂ ମିନିମମ୍ 60 ରହିବେ। ଏଟା ହଉଛି ତାର କମ୍ପୋଜିସନ। ତାପରେ ପ୍ରତ୍ୟେକ ଷ୍ଟେଟ ଲେଜିସ୍ଲେଚର ଟୁ ଷ୍ଟେଟ ଲେଜିସ୍ଲେଚର ଏଟା ଡିଫର କରିବ। ଯେମିତି ଯଦି ଓଡିଶା କଥା ଆମେ ଡିସ୍କସ କରିବା, ଓଡିଶାର ବିଧାନସଭାରେ କେତେ ମେମ୍ବର? 147। ଓକେ, ତ ସେଇଭଳିଆ ସେମିତି ଲେଜିସ୍ଲେଚର ଟୁ ଲେଜିସ୍ଲେଚର ଏଟା ଡିଫର କରିବ। ଓକେ, then ଆମେ ତାର durations ଦେଖିଦବା, ଏ two houses ର durations କେତେ ରହୁଛି। like the Lok Sabha, the legislative assembly is not a continuing chamber, its normal term is 5 years। its normal term is 5 years from the date of his first meeting after the general elections. Okay, the expirations of the period of 5 years operates as a automatic dissolutions of the assembly. However, the governor is authorized to dissolve the assembly at any time, okay, to pave the way for each elections. Then durations of council, like the Rajya Sabha, the Legislative Assembly, the Legislative Council is a continuing chamber. That is, it is permanent body and it is not subject to dissolution. Okay, but one third of its members retired on the expirations of every second year. So a member continues as such for 6 years. The vacant seats are filled up by fresh elections and nominations at the beginning of every third year. The retiring members are also eligible for re-elections and re-nominations any number of times. Okay. Then we discuss qualifications of members. Okay, he must be a citizen of India. He must make the subscribe to an oath or affirmation before the person is authorized by the election commissions for these purposes. In this oath or affirmation, he swears to bear true faith and allegations to the constitutions of India, to uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India. He must be not he must not less than 30 years of age in the case of legislative council, and not less than 25 years of age in case of legislative assembly. He must possess other qualifications prescribed by the parliament. Okay. Then its oaths and affirmations. Every members of either house of state legislature, before taking his seat in the house, has to make and subscribe or an oath or affirmations before the governance or some persons appointed by him for these purposes. In this oath, a member of the state legislature swears that to bear true faith and allegiance to the constitutions of India, it to uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India, and to faithfully discharge the duty of his office. Okay, Uh, these are the oath and affirmations. Okay. Then presiding officers of state legislature is Speaker of Assembly. Okay. Then in the absence of Speaker, Deputy Speaker works as a Speaker. Okay. Chairman is works for the Legislative Council. In the absence of Chairman, Deputy Chairman works as a Chairman. Okay. Then what are the legislative procedures in state legislature? Just like it also has ordinary bill and money bill. In case of what in case of parliament, there is we found four type of bill, that is ordinary bill, money bill, financial bill, and constitutional amendment bill. But in state legislature, there is we found only two kinds of bill, that is ordinary bill and money bill. So about money bill, as ordinary our about ordinary bill, as the ordinary bill can originate in either house of the state legislature. Such a bill can be introduced either by the ministers or by any other member. The bill passes through three stages in the originating house, that is first reading, second reading, and third reading. In case of what in case of parliament, there is five stage or five reading, but in case of state legislature, there is only three reading. That's all about original bill. Then in case of money bill, the constitution lays down a special procedure for the passing of money bill in the state legislature. These conditions are: the money bill cannot be introduced in the state legislative council. It can be introduced in the legislative assembly only. Okay, and that too on the recommendations of the governor. Every such bill is considered to be a government bill and can be introduced only by a ministers. Okay. So this is all about state legislative assembly. Then now we're going to start our second unit. Second unit is about president, prime minister, council of ministers, cabinet. Okay. So first we start president. Article 252 to 78 in Part 5 of the Constitution deals with the Union Executive. The Union Executive consists of President, the Vice President, the Prime Minister, the Council of Ministers, and Attorney General of India. The President is the head of the Indian state. Okay, he is the first citizen of India. Remember, President is the first citizen of India and act as the symbol of unity, integrity, and solidarity of the nations. Okay. Then elections of presidencies. The president is elected not directly by the people but by the members of electoral college consisting of the elected members of both the houses of parliament, the elected members of the legislative assemblies of the states, and the elected members of the legislative assemblies of the union territories of Delhi and Puducherry. Okay. Thus, the nominated members of both the houses of parliament, the nominated members of the state legislative assemblies, the members of state legislative council, and the nominated members of state legislative assemblies of Delhi and Puducherry do not participate in the elections of presidents. Remember, where an assembly is dissolved, the members cease to be qualified to vote in presidential election. Even if fresh election to be dissolved, assembly are not held before the presidential election. The constitution provides that there shall be uniformity in the scale of representations of different states as well as parity between the states as a whole and a union at the elections of the president. To achieve this, the number of votes which each elected members of the state legislative assemblies of each state and the parliament is entitled to cast at such elections shall be determined in the following manners. The which manner each elected members of the state legislative assembly of the states shall have as many votes as there are multiple of 1,000 in the quotations obtained by the dividing the populations of the state by the total member of elected members of the assembly. The expression is the value of the vote of an MLA equal is total populations of state divided by total number of elected members in that state legislative assembly into 1 by 1,000. Okay, that is the value vote of an MLA. Then value vote on MP, total value vote of all MLAs of all states divided by total number of elected members of parliament. That is the value vote of an MP. Okay. The president election is held in accordance with the system of proportional representations by means of single transferable vote system. Okay. And the voting is by secret ballot. Okay. The system ensures that the successful candidate is written by the absolute majority of votes. A candidate, in order to be declared elected to the office of president, must secure a fixed quota of vote. The quota of vote is determined by dividing the total members of valid votes polled by the number of candidates to be elected pools one and adding one to quotient. The formula can be expressed as quota constitute like total member of valid votes pool divided by 1 plus 1 equals to 2 plus 1. Okay. Each member of electoral college is given only one ballot paper. Okay, the voter while casting his vote is required to indicate his preferences by making just like 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, etc. against the names of candidates. This means that the voter can indicate as many preference as there are candidates in the query. Okay, in the first phase, the first preference vote are counted. In case a candidate secure the required quota in this phase, he is declared elected. Okay, otherwise the process is transfer of vote in seat is motion. The ballots of candidates securing the least number of first preference votes are cancelled, and his second preference votes are transferred to the first preference votes of other candidates. This process continues till a candidate secure the required quota. Okay, this is the election procedures of presidents. Okay, then what are the qualifications of presidents? First qualification is he should be a citizens of India. Then he should have completed 35 years of age. He should be qualified for elections as a member of the Lok Sabha. Then he should not hold any office or profit under the union government or any local authority or any other public authority. Okay, these are the qualifications of a president. Then next, oath affirmation by the president. Before entering upon his office, the president has to make and subscribe to an oath or affirmation. In his oath, the president swears to faithfully execute the office, okay, to preserve, protect, and defend the constitutions and the law, and to devote himself to the service and well-being of the people of India. Okay, these are the oath affirmation. Then mm, terms. What are the terms of precedence or impeachment procedures or vacancy? Okay, the president holds office for a term of 5 years. Okay, from the date of which he enters upon his office. However, he can resign from his office at any time by addressing the resignations letter to the vice president. Further, he can also be removed from the office before completion of his term by the process of impeachment. Okay, the president can hold office beyond his term of 5 years until his successor assumes charges. He is also eligible for re-election to that office. He may be elected for any number of terms. However, in USA, a person can be elected to the office of the president more than twice. Okay. Then impeachment procedures of presidents. The president can be removed from office by a procedure of impeachment of violations of the constitutions. However, the constitutions does not define the meaning of the phrases violations of the constitutions. The impeachment charges can be initiated by the either house of the parliament. These charges should be signed by one fourth of members of house. Okay, and a 14 days notice should be given to the presidents. After the impeachment resolution is passed by a majority of two-thirds of total members of that house, it is sent to the other house, which should investigate the charges. The president has the right to appear and to be represented at such investigation. If the other house also sustains the charge and pages the impeachment resolution by a majority of two-thirds of the total membership, then the president stands removed from his office from the date on which the resolution is so passed. Okay, then vacancy in the president's office, in which time president sits or president's office remain vacant. A vacancy of president office can occur in situations like on the expirations of his tenure of 5 years, or by his resignations, or on his removal by the procedures of impeachment, by his death, or otherwise, for example, when he becomes disqualification to hold office, or when his elections is declared void. Okay, In that cases, president's office remain vacant. Okay. Then we see what are the powers and positions of the presidents. The powers and functions enjoyed by the presidents can be uh, executive power, legislative power, financial power, judicial power, diplomatic power, military power, and emergency power. So first we discuss executive power. The executive power and functions of the presidents are all executive activities, actions or activities of the government of India are formally taken in his name. Okay, he can make rules specifying the manner in which orders and other instruments made and executed in his name shall be authenticated. Okay, he can make rules for more convenient mm, transactions of business of the union government and for a allocations of the said business among the ministers. He appoint the prime minister and other ministers. He appoint the attorney general of India and determine his remuneration. Okay, he appoints the comptroller and auditor general of India, the chief election commissioner and other electional commissioner, the chairman and member of the Union Public Service Commission, the governor of states, the chairman and members of finance commissions, and so on. Okay, he can seek any information relating to the administrations of affairs of the union and proposals for legislation from the prime minister. He can require the Prime Minister to submit for considerations of the Council of Ministers any matters on which a decision has been taken by ministers but which has not been considered by the councils. Okay, he can appoint a commissions to investigate into the conditions of SC and ST and other backward classes. Okay, he can appoint an interstate council to promote center state and interstate corporations. Okay, he directly administers the union territories through administrations appointed by him. He can declare any area as scheduled areas and has power with respect to the administrations of scheduled areas and tribal areas. These are the executive powers of president. Then legislative power. He can summon or prorogue the parliament and dissolve the Lok Sabha. He can also summon joint sitting of both the houses of parliament, which is prescribed by the speaker of the Lok Sabha. He can address the parliament at the commencement of the first sessions after the general elections and the first sessions of each year. He can send message to the house of parliament whether with respect to bill pending in the parliament or otherwise. Then he can appoint any member of Lok Sabha to preside over its proceedings when the office of both the speaker and the deputy speaker fall vacant. Okay, then he nominates 12 members to Rajya Sabha from among the person having special knowledge or practical experience in literature, science, arts, and social service. He can nominate 2 members to Lok Sabha from Anglo-Indian community. He decides on questions as to disqualifications of members of the parliament in consultations with the election commission. Okay, his prior recommendations or permission is need to introduce certain type of bills in expenditure from the consolidated fund of India or a bill for the alterations of boundaries of state or creations of a new states. Okay, then he can promulgate ordinances when the parliament is not in session. Okay, he lays the reports of the comptroller and auditor general of India, Union Public Service Commission, finance commissions and other bodies before the parliament. Okay, he can make regulations for the peace, progress and good governance of the Andaman Nicobar Islands, Lakshadweep, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, and Daman Diu. Okay, these are all about legislative powers of president. Then financial powers. Money bill can be introduced in the parliament only in the prior recommendations. Okay, he causes to be laid before the parliament the annual financial statement. Okay, no demand for a grant can be made except on his recommendations. He can make advance out of the contingency fund of India to meet any unforeseen expenditure. He constitutes a finance commissions after every 5 years of to recommendations the distributions of revenue between the center and the states. Okay, these are financial power and judicial power. He appoints the chief justice and the judges of the Supreme Court and High Court. He can seek advice from the Supreme Court on any questions of law or fact. However, the advice taken by the Supreme Court is not binding on the president. Okay, he can grant pardon, reprieve, respite, and remissions of punishment or suspend, remit, or commute the sentence of any persons conceived of any office. Okay, these are his judicial power. Then one another important power is his ordinance making power. Okay, under Article 23, when Parliament is not in sessions, President the Constitution empowers the President to promulgate ordinance during the recess of Parliament or when Parliament is not in sessions. Okay, these ordinances have the same forces and effect as an act of Parliament, but are in the name of temporary laws. That laws are temporary laws. Okay, then now we discuss about prime ministers. Okay, sorry. Uh, um, Now we discuss about vice president. Okay, the vice president occupies the second highest office in the country. Okay, he is accorded a rank next to the president in the official warrant of procedure. Okay, this office is modeled on the lines of the America vice president. Then elections of vice president. The vice president, like the president, is elected not directly by the people but by the method of direct elections. He is elected by the members of an electoral college consisting of the member of both houses of parliament. Thus, the electoral college is different from the electoral college for the election from the presidents. Okay, in which ground it consists of both elected and nominated members of parliament. Then it does not include the member of the state legislative assemblies. Okay. Then what are the qualifications for vice president? First qualification, he should be a citizen of India. He should have a completed 35 years of age. Then he should be qualified for elections as a member of the Rajya Sabha. He should not hold any office or profit under the union government or any state government or any local authority or any other public authority. Okay. Then oath and affirmations are to bear true faith and allegations to the constitutions of India and to faithfully discharge the duties of his office. Okay, the term of office is the vice president holds office for a terms of 5 years. Then what are the powers and functions of presidents? He acts as the ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha. Okay, in this capacity, his power and functions are similar to those to the Speaker of Lok Sabha. In this respect, he resembles the American Vice President, who also acts as the chairman of the Senate, the upper house of the American legislature. Okay, he acts as president when a vacancy occurs in the office of the president due to his resignations, removal, death, or otherwise. Okay, he can act as a president only for a maximum period of 6 months. Okay, within which a new president has to be elected. Further, when the sitting presiding president is unable to discharge his functions due to absence, illness, or any other causes, the vice president discharges his functions until the president resumes his office. Okay. This is all about vice president. Now we'll discuss about prime ministers. Okay. In the scheme of parliamentary system of government provided by the constitution, the president is the nominal executive authority and the prime minister is the real authority. Who is the real authority? Prime minister is the real authority. Okay. In other words, president is the head of the state while prime minister is the head of the government. Okay. Then in which way president appoints? The constitution does not contain any specific purposes for the selections and appointment of the prime ministers. Article 75 says that only the prime minister shall be appointed by the president. However, this does not imply that the president is free to appoint anyone as the prime minister. In accordance with the conventions of the parliamentary system of government, the president has to appoint the leader of the majority party in the Lok Sabha and the prime minister. But when no party has a clear majority in the Lok Sabha, then the president may exercise his personal directions in the selections and appointment of the prime minister. In such a situation, the president usually appoint the leader of the largest party or coalitions in the Lok Sabha as the prime minister and asks him to seek a vote of confidence in the house within a month. Okay, this discretions was exercised by the president for the first time in 1979 when mm, Neelam Sanjiva Reddy appointed Charan Singh as the Prime Minister after the fall of the Janata Party government headed by Moraji Desai. Okay, then what are the oaths and terms of Prime Minister? The oaths are to bear true faith and allegiance to the constitutions of India, to uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India, to faithfully and conscientiously discharge the duties of his office, to do right to all manner of people in accordance with the constitutions and the law, without fear or favor, affections or ill will. Okay. Then what are the terms? The term of prime ministers is not fixed, and he holds office during the pleasure. The term of the prime minister is not fixed, and he holds office during the pleasure of the president. However, he does not mean that the president can dismiss the prime minister at any time, so long as the prime minister enjoys the majority support in Lok Sabha. He becomes dismissed by the president. However, if he lost the or he enjoyed as a prime minister, but however, if he lost the confidence of the Lok Sabha, he must resign or president can dismiss him. Okay. Then what are the powers and functions of the prime ministers? First is in relation to the councils of ministers. Okay, he recommended persons who can be appointed as ministers by the president. The president can appoint only those persons as ministers who are recommended by the prime minister. He allocates and reserves various portfolios among the ministers. He can ask a minister to resign or advise the president to dismiss him in case of difference or opinion. He presides over the meeting of council of ministers and influence its decisions. Okay, he guides, directs, controls, and coordinates the activities of all the ministers. He can bring about the collapse of the council of minister by residing from office. Okay, in relation to the president, he is the principal channel of communications between the president and the council of ministers. Okay. He advised the president with regard to appointment of important officials like attorney general of India and chairman and members of the UPSC, election commissioner, chairman and members of the finance commission, and so on. Okay, then in relation to the parliament, what are the functions, what are the power, and what are the functions of presidents? He advised the president with regard to summoning the or proroguing of the sessions of the parliament, He can recommend resolutions of the Lok Sabha to president at any time. He announces government policies on the floor of the house. Okay, these are the power and functions of prime minister. Now we see discuss about council of ministers. Okay, as the constitutions of India provides for a parliamentary system of government, molded on the British pattern, the Council of Ministers, headed by the Prime Minister, is the real executive authority, is our politico-administrative system. Okay, the principles of parliamentary system of government are not detailed in the constitutions, but two articles, that is Article 74 and Article 75, deals with them. Deals with them. Okay, when Article 74, Council of Minister to add and advise the President. Okay, there shall be a Council of Minister with the Prime Minister as the head to add and advise the President, who shall, in the exercise to his function, act in accordance with such advice. However, the President may require the Council of Minister to recommend such advice, and the President shall act in accordance with the advice tendered after such reconsiderations. Okay, the advice tendered by ministers to the president shall not be inquired into any court. Okay, then under Article 75, other provisions are which link to Council of Ministers are the Prime Minister shall be appointed by the President, and the other ministers shall be appointed by the President on the advice of the Prime Ministers. The total number of ministers, including the Prime Minister, in the Council of Ministers shall not exceed 15% of the total strength of Lok Sabha. Okay, a members of either House of Parliament belonging to any political party who is disqualified on the ground of defection shall not be disqualified to be appointed as a minister. The minister shall hold office during the pleasure of the president. Okay, the council of ministers shall be collectively responsible to the Lok Sabha. The president shall administer the oath of office of secrecy of to a minister. A minister who is not a member of the parliament for any period of 6 consecutive months shall cease to be a minister. Okay, the salaries and allowances of ministers shall be determined by the parliament. So these are the provisions. Okay, then oath of ministers to bear true faith and allegations to the constitutions of India, to uphold and sovereignty and integrity of India, to faithfully and conscientiously discharge the duties of his office, to do right to the matter of people in accordance with the constitutions and the law, without fear or favor, affections or ill will. Okay, then this is all about what this is all about council of minister. Then cabinet minister. Cabinet minister is a similar body of 15 to 20 members. It includes the cabinet ministers only. Okay, it meets a body frequently and usually once in a week to deliberate the decisions regarding the transactions of government business. Thus, it is collectively functions. It exercises in practice the powers of the Council of Ministers and thus acts for the latter. It directs the Council of Ministers by taking policy decisions which are binding on all ministers. It supervises the implementations of his decisions by the Council of Ministers. Okay, the role of cabinet is it is the highest decision making authority in our politico administrative system. Okay, it is the chief policy formulating body of the central government. Okay, it is the supreme executive authority of the central government. It is the chief coordinator of central administration. It is an advisory body to the president and its advices is binding on him. It is the chief crisis manager and thus deals with all emergency situations. It deals with all majority legislative financial matters. Okay, it exercises control over higher appointment like constitutional authorities, and senior secretarial administrators. It deals with all the policies and foreign affairs. Okay, this is all about cabinet ministers. Okay, then lastly we discuss about third unit, that is about Supreme Court and High Court and judicial review. Unlike the American constitutions, the Indian constitution has established an integrated judicial system with the Supreme Court at the top and the High Court below it. Okay, under a High Court, there is a hierarchy of subordinate court, that is district courts or other lower courts. This single system of courts adopted from the Government of India Act of 1935. That means this system of, that is Supreme Court at the apex level, after that High Court, after that subordinate court. These systems we adopted from the Indian Act of 1935. Enforces both central laws as well as the state laws. In USA, on the other hand, the federal law is enforced by the federal judiciary and the state law are enforced by the state judiciary. Okay, the Supreme Court India was inaugurated on January 20, 1950. It succeeded the Federal Court of India established under the Government Act of 1935. Okay, Article 124 to 147 in Part 5 of the Constitutions deal with the organizations, independence, jurisdictions, power, procedures, and so on of the Supreme Court. Okay. Then organizations of Supreme Court. At present, Supreme Court consists of 31 judges, okay, one Chief Justice and 30 other judges. In February 2009, the center notified an increase in the number of Supreme Court judges from 26 to 31, okay, including the Chief Justice of India. This following the enactment of the Supreme Court number of judges Amendment Act 2008. Originally, the strength of the Supreme Court was fixed at 8. Okay, the Parliament has increased this number of the other judges progressively on 10 in 1956, to 13 in 1960, to 17 in 1977, and 35 in 1986. Okay, then appointment of judges. The judges of the Supreme Court are appointed by the President. The Chief Justice is appointed by the presiding officer. Consultations with the such judges of Supreme Court and High Court, and he deems necessary. The other judges are appointed by the President after consultations with the Chief Justice and such other judges of the Supreme Court and High Court as he demands necessary. The constitutions with the Chief Justice is obligatory in the case of appointment of a judges other than Chief Justice. Okay. Then what are the tenure of judges? He holds office until he attains the age of 65 years of age. Any question regarding his age is to determine by such authority and such manner as provided by Parliament. He can resign his office by writing to the President. Then he can remove from his office by the President on the recommendations of the Parliament. Then removal of judges. A removal motion signed by 100 members or 50 members is to be given to the Speaker or Chairman. The Speaker or Chairman may admit the motions or refuse to admit it. If it is admitted, then the Speaker or Chairman to constitute 3-member committee to investigate into the charges. The committee should consist of the Chief Justice of judges of the Supreme Court, a Chief Justice of High Court, and a distinct jurisdict court. Okay. Then what are the jurisdictions of Supreme Court? Is first jurisdiction is original jurisdictions. Okay. As a federal court, the Supreme Court decided the disputes between the different units of the Indian federations. More elaborately, any disputes between the center and one or more state, or the center and any other state on one side and one or more state on the other, and between two or more states. Okay. In the above federal dispute, the Supreme Court has exclusive original jurisdiction. Exclusive means no other court can decide such disputes, and original means the power to hear such dispute in the first instance, not by the way of appeal. Okay. Then about writ jurisdictions, a constitution has constituted the Supreme Court as the guarantor and defender of the fundamental rights of the citizens. Okay, the Supreme Court is enumerated to issue writs including habeas corpus, mandamus, querentum, certiorari, and provisions for the enforcement of the fundamental rights of an aggrieved citizens. Okay, in this regard, the Supreme Court has original jurisdiction in the sense that and aggrieved citizens can directly go to the Supreme Court, not necessary by appeal. Okay, however, the writ jurisdiction of Supreme Court is not exclusive. Okay, the High Court are also empowered to issue writs for the enforcement of fundamental rights. Okay, then appellate jurisdictions. As mentioned earlier, the Supreme Court has not only succeeded the Federal Court of India but also replaced the British Privy Council as the highest court of appeal. The Supreme Court is primarily a court of appeal and hears appeal against the judgment of lower courts. It enjoys a wide appellate jurisdiction which can be classified under four heads, that is appeals in constitutional matters, appeals in civil matters, appeals in criminal matters, and appeals in special leave. Okay. Then advisory jurisdiction, the constitutions under Article 143 authorize the President to seek the opinion of the Supreme Court in two categories or matters. One, any questions of law or fact of public importance which has arisen or which is like to arise, and on any dispute arising out of any pre-constitution treaty, agreement, covenant, engagement, or other similar instruments. Okay, then Supreme Court also acts as a court of record. These are the power and these are the jurisdictions of Supreme Court. Okay, then High Court in India single. Okay, let's we discuss judicial review. What is judicial review? Judicial review is the power of the judiciary to examine the constitutionality of legislative amendments and executive order of both the center and the states. Okay, state government. On examinations, if they are found to violated of the constitutions, they can be declared as illegal, unconstitutional, and invalid by the judiciary. Consequently, they can be enforced by the government. That means, what is judicial review? That means if any law is created by the legislature or legislature or executive, and if that law is going against our constitution, judiciary declare that law is ultra vires and unconstitutional. This is called judicial review power of Supreme Court. Okay. Then next we discuss High Court. Okay. In the Indian single integrated judicial system, the High Court operates below the Supreme Court but above the subordinate courts. The judiciary in a state consists of a High Court and a hierarchy of a subordinate court. The High Court occupies the top position in the judicial administrations of a state. The institutions of High Court originate in India in 1962 when High Courts were set up in Calcutta, Bombay, Madras. Okay. Then organizations of High Court. Every High Court consists of a Chief Justice and such other judges as President may from time to time deem necessary to appoint. Thus, the Constitution does not specify the strength of a High Court and leaves it to the discretions of the President. Okay, according to the President, determine the strength of a High Court from time to time depending upon its workload. Okay, then appointment of judges. The judges of High Court are appointed by the President. The Chief Justice are appointed by the President after consultations with the Chief Justice of India and the Governor of the states concerned. For appointment of other judges, the Chief Justice of the concerned High Court is also consulted. In case of a common High Court, for two or more states, the governor of all states concerned are consulted by the presidents. Okay. Then what are the qualifications of judges? He should be a citizen of India. He should have held a judicial office in the territory of India for 10 years, or he should have an advocate of a high court for 10 years. Okay, then oaths are to bear true faith and allegations to the constitutions of India, to uphold to the sovereignty and integrity of India, to duty and faithfully, and to the best of his ability, knowledge, and judgment, perform the duties of the office without fear, unfavor, affection, or ill will, and to uphold the constitutions and the law. Okay, the tenure of judges, he hold office until they attain the age of 62 years. Okay, he can resign his office by writing to the president. He can be removed from his office by the president of the recommendations of the parliament. He vacates his office when he is appointed as a judge of Supreme Court, or when he is transferred to another high court. Okay, then what are the jurisdictions of high court? First jurisdiction is original jurisdictions. Okay, original jurisdictions extend in following matters: matters of admiralty, will, marriage, divorce, company laws, and contempt of court. Disputing relating to the elections of members of parliament and state legislature, regarding revenues matters, or an act order of done in revenue collections, enforcement of fundamental rights of citizens, cases ordered to the transfer from a subordinate court to involving the interpretations of the constitutions of its own life. Okay, then read jurisdiction. Article 226 of the constitutions empowers a high court to issue writ jurisdiction, that is habeas corpus, mandamus, certiorari, prohibition, and warrant for the enforcement of fundamental rights of the citizens and for any other purposes. Okay, then appellate jurisdictions. A high court is primarily a court of appeal. It hears appeal against the judgment of subordinate courts concerning in its territorial jurisdiction. It has appellate jurisdiction in both civil and criminal matters. Hence, the appeal jurisdictions of a high court is wider than a original jurisdictions. Okay. Then supervisory role, um, uh, calls for returns from them, makes and issue general rules and prescribe forms regulating the practices and procedures of them, prescribe forms in which books, entries, and accounts are to be kept in them. Okay, then High Court also acts as a court of record. So all these about High Court. Then one small thing is left, that is subordinate court. Okay, the state judiciary consists of a high court and a hierarchy of subordinate courts, also known as lower courts. The subordinate courts are so called because of their subordination to the state high court. They functions below the under the high court and district and lower court. Okay, article 233 to 237 in part 6 of the constitution makes the following provision to regulate the organizations of subordinate court and to ensure their independence from the executive. Then appointment of district judges. The appointment, posting, and promotions of district judges in a state are made by the governor of the state in consultations with the high court. Okay, a person to be appointed as district judge should have the following qualification: he should not already be in a service of the central or state government. He should have been an advocate or a trader for 7 years. Okay, he should be recommended by the high court for appointment. Okay, then appointment of other judges, appointment of other persons to the judicial review services of states are made by the governor of the state after consultations with the state public submissions and high court. Okay, so this is all about subordinate court. Now now we complete our no, no, one more thing is left, that is judicial reforms. Okay, you see, judicial reform means while the judiciary has earned respect for its contribution to protecting citizens from arbitrary exercise of power, a large number of pending cases and the delays in the dispensations of justice are seen as its major drawbacks. Reason for the filling of a large number of cases can be attributed to structural and procedural flaws of in the judiciary. The availability of multiple remedies at different rungs of the judicial ladder also enables dishonest and abuse the judicial system. Okay, it leads to the piling up of cases as well as delaying in the dispensations of justice. Okay, this all about union legislature, executive bodies, that is our high rank minister, president, prime minister, council of minister, cabinet ministers, and our judicial organ supreme court, high court, and subordinate court. Okay, now we have some probable questions. You may be note down the probable questions. The first question is, discuss the composition and discuss the compositions and functions of Lok Sabha. Discuss the compositions and functions of Lok Sabha. Discuss the compositions and functions of Rajya Sabha. The next one, discuss the compositions and functions of Parliament. Then write a short note on Parliamentary Committee. Short note on Parliamentary Committee. Next, discuss the compositions and parliamentary procedures of discuss the compositions and parliamentary procedures of state legislative assembly. Next, write short notes on money bill. Next, write short notes on ordinary bill. Next, discuss the power and role of President of India. Discuss the power and role of President of India. Next, discuss the power and position of Prime Minister of India. Discuss the power and position of Prime Minister of India. Next, write a short notes on Council of Ministers. Write a short note on Council of Ministers. Then discuss composition and jurisdiction. Discuss composition and jurisdiction of Supreme Court of India. Discuss composition and jurisdiction of Supreme Court of India. Discuss composition and jurisdiction of High Court. Discuss composition and jurisdiction of High Court. Next, write a short note on judicial review. Write a short note on judicial review. Okay, this is all about today's class. Then we meet next class. The next class is on 12. Okay. Okay, thank you. Happy Janmashtami to you, all of you.
Thank you, ma'am. ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ବି